Coming up next, it's the Pro Wrestling Report Primetime. ECW is no more. Bret Hart returns to WWE Raw, and the Royal Rumble is in the history books. All that and a lot more coming up next on the Pro Wrestling Report Primetime.
Number one since 1998 on television, ESPN Radio, and the World Wide Web. This is the Pro Wrestling Report with your hosts, the man they call Meathead, Frank Cosentino, and Damian Nelson. Professional wrestling news, opinion, and information from fans for fans.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the Pro Wrestling Report Prime Time for Friday, February 5th, 2009. Damian Nelson, 2010. Damian Nelson sitting here alongside the man they call David Hero. David, still reeling from Monday's wrestling show. Monday's radio show.
That was an amazing show, wasn't it?
It was something else.
The Skull Crusher Rashi Brown.
New addition, the Ring of Honor talent,
down
Rashi Brown.
On Meat Torso.
You can pick that up on iTunes if you haven't already, and also on pwrshow.com. And speaking of the radio show, congratulations are in order for ourselves, apparently, because the Pro Wrestling Report radio show on 540 ESPN was voted the best broadcast professional wrestling radio show in the world.
In the world.
Number
Where's the
one.
trophy? Did you forget it again?
It hasn't come yet. Wow. Thank you to all of you who supported us and voted for us at the Wrestling Radio Awards, which was broadcast this past Sunday, just before the WWE Royal Rumble. And David, we're going to talk about the Royal Rumble later on, but the big story that broke earlier this week, as a matter of fact, Tuesday Night Live on ECW, was Vincent Kennedy McMahon saying that the brand is coming to an end. Vince McMahon saying that in 3 weeks, ECW will be no more. And as a matter of fact, luckily enough for us, we're going to be at that ECW taping on Tuesday,
live.
February 23rd, the final ECW. And a lot of people have had a lot to say about this announcement. It was speculated for a very long time, but David Hero, did we expect that the announcement would be, lack of a better word, so crass?
It's Vince. He's the heel, right? He's the guy that's trying to beat up Bret Hart. He's the guy that tries to, just be that guy.
Yeah, but when you come out and you say, I'm proud to announce that ECW is going to go off the air in 3 weeks, and then you proceed to thank the technical people, the camera people, the producers, and, oh, by the way, the performers.
It wasn't his product.
Exactly, but doesn't he have an obligation to the legacy of ECW and those who may follow ECW currently to at least give it some appreciation? It was his product.
The legacy
in a lot
of
wrestling fans'
ECW
minds.
was Paul Heyman's ECW. This was Vinnie Mac's.
They made a ton of money off of ECW, the DVD, the one-night stand pay-per-views.
Yeah, that's been it since then.
But it's their own doing.
Right, but let it be gone. Let it be done. Let Paul Heyman try to, recreate it somehow.
Oh, he can't. You need the name to do that.
Oh, yeah.
ECW too?
But
the Deuce?
But here's the thing: if it's this big dog and pony show for the death of ECW, well, then people are going to want it. By him just blowing it off and saying, "Hey, we're bringing something better,"
they're bringing sexy back.
Well, they're bringing sexy back.
A lot of people,
sexy, but sexy back.
I see your point, but I think it was done deliberately by Vince. He did not want to give ECW. It was almost like when he came out in March of 2001. And talked about how he had purchased WCW, buried it, and put forth every effort to bury it. This is another story where it has been buried, but what they're going to do with it, from what we know right now, is a lot more in line with what they've been doing with the Tuesday night product.
Maybe they'll sell more DVDs this way, ECW DVDs. For the fans that want it, they own all the TV.
Yeah. You never see them use that, though. There was the one
maybe
ECW DVD, and that's about it.
Maybe they will now.
How is it a good business move?
Are you really
Vince
upset?
is supposed. No, I'm not upset at all.
Does it hurt you that it's going to be gone?
Did not hurt a little. If Vince is such a great businessman, as everybody gives him credit for, wouldn't he be smart enough to realize that there is value and money in ECW, which means using the footage on more than just a couple of DVDs here and there, showcasing some of the old school nature of ECW, which I understand those days are gone and way behind us, and giving the brand a proper send-off, thanking the Tommy Dreamers, thanking the Paul Heymans, thanking the people who made the brand what it was.
They did that one-night stand. How many years ago?
4 years ago.
Yeah.
It was cool when they did that.
Yeah, but
and Vince was threatened, I believe. WWE was threatened by how good it was.
There's no more barbed wire. There's no more thumbtacks. There's no more flaming tables.
I'm not knocking detaching themselves from the brand.
ECW cannot exist on a PG-rated company.
Agreed. But the question again, should it have gotten a better send-off?
Nobody watches it.
It got its highest rating since December 22nd.
Yeah, that's because of the
this
big,
Tuesday.
what do you call it, announcement by Vinnie Mac.
Which was only told about on WWE.com. It's like they made the decision that day. Vince woke up, had his coffee. I'm going to kill ACW tonight.
NXT.
It was a deliberate slam at those ECW traditionalists that are still out there. And a couple of them had words to say about that. Firstly was Taz, who said, and I quote, "Point is, why not acknowledge Paul Heyman's contributions to the industry? Or saying thanks to all the ECW originals. A lot of blood, sweat, and tears were dropped during the original ECW's life. If you're going to thank cameramen and directors, then acknowledge the past history because it's well deserved." Taz goes on to say, "If you utilize the letters ECW to make a lot of money over the past several years, I would assume that you respect the history of ECW. If you would produce and sell a successful DVD documenting the company's history, I would assume you feel that the original ECW history has value. Then why not give it a proper send-off?"
They got the proper send-off. One night stand.
4 years ago.
Yeah. Hey, you know what? These guys weren't all complaining when Paulie bankrupted the company.
Well, they were, just not about getting paid.
Okay.
Or lack thereof.
So, you know what? This was the second go-around. The first time, that was a legacy when, the Bank of Spalding was bouncing checks all over the place.
Taz ended those comments with saying he's happy that the ECW letters are being retired, as they deserve to rest in peace.
Absolutely. I
Tommy-
was never an ECW fan.
At all, even in the glory days of
not at all.
ECW? Why
Not at
not?
all.
You and Frank Cosentino, Cos saying ECW ruined wrestling?
It did ruin wrestling.
Wow. This is from the Booker Man.
Well, here's why. You give somebody 5 chair shots, should knock them out, right?
Mm-hmm.
They get back up.
What if John Cena took 5 chair shots?
I don't think he would take 5 chair shots.
Ooh, good point. Not even to the
I
back?
mean, ECW did help. Don't get me wrong. It was a very valuable commodity.
Valuable enough that arguably WWE took a lot of aspects
Yeah,
from
they did.
ECW.
And that helped the ratings and the Attitude Era and everything else. But like I said, you had a guy with a chair 5 times and can't pin him, and then the finish of the match is a quick roll-up and holding the tights, and that pins the guy? Come on.
What if you hit a guy with a chair 9 times and then put a microphone to his face and have the audio system say, I quit, I quit?
Absolutely. See? Don't make fun of Mick Foley now.
ECW was bankrolled by WWE for quite a while.
It was.
Vince saw the value.
He got his money out of it. But now, with the current ECW product, everyone complains about it.
Absolutely. There are no more
get rid
traditionalists
of
out
it
there.
then.
No, again, see, the point I'm making is not that they got rid of it. They should have. I support that. The point is, Vince McMahon deliberately put the final nail in the coffin of ECW, not by getting rid of it, but by his lack
Okay.
of
Stop.
acknowledgement
Stop.
of anything good that happened
There's
in ECW.
3 more weeks to go.
Correct. We don't
And
know what's going to
They
happen.
can build something up
Absolutely
for the
they
next 3
can.
weeks. Yes.
And that's the next series of questions. What happens to not only Christian, the ECW champion, what happens to all the talent on ECW? A Goldust, a William Regal.
Well, they
People
can
who
all
have been
still be
around.
there.
They're not Generation Next, though.
They can still be there.
ECW will be now called, as far as we have been able to tell, NXT. Next, as in next generation. And again, it's what ECW has been. It's what WWE has been using ECW for. It all makes perfect sense.
It's going to be Florida Championship Wrestling.
Do you feel that perhaps they are lowering the expectations? Well, no, they've actually raised the expectations of the program with what Vince said. It was the evolution of WWE on TV. It was the next generation of WWE on TV.
Yeah, it's going to be. You're going to see a
Maybe
lot
they
of
should have just brought Livewire back.
Or Shotgun Saturday Night.
No. Shotgun. Saturday night. I feel that Vince McMahon just opened up the toilet seat lid of ECW and took a dump right in.
You would say that. He kept it. He kept. He's been flushing it for the last few years. His money down the drain.
I do give him initial credit for trying to maintain some of the old nature of the ECW brand, but at the same time, they were going to the PG.
Name 5 guys on ECW.
Yoshitatsu.
Don't say Goldust.
Okay, fine. Yoshitatsu.
Uh-huh.
Ezekiel Jackson.
Okay, not the guys. Okay.
Yoshitatsu.
Okay, fine. I see where you're going with this.
That tag team.
Yeah. Yeah, who are those 2 tag team guys?
I forget their names.
See?
Abraham Washington?
Right?
Tyler Rex? No.
Yeah, Tyler Rex is there.
All right.
Yeah. I can't name 5.
Well, you don't watch.
I do watch.
That was virtual fast forward, ladies and
Yes.
gentlemen. Tommy Dreamer said that Vince's send-off to ECW was one of the reasons he left WWE. Now, really, though, he should have come to
cashed a lot
grips.
of checks.
Exactly, and he should have come to grips with the fact a long time ago that ECW, as it was originally, would never be what it once was in WWE. But as I was saying before, they tried to pay homage to the old ECW. With the, it had a distinctly different look when it first came on board, but they made the transition over to PG around the same time. So, Extreme Championship Wrestling, hardcore rules match or Extreme Rules matches didn't fit into the product overall. So, to the point you made earlier, I get it business-wise as to why WWE took a different track with ECW. But again, my point is Vince crapped all over it. Not in the last 3 years, in that send-off message. It was sort of like
3 more weeks.
Okay, fine. We'll see what happens then.
I mean, don't expect to see Sabu or RVD or any of those guys showing up the next couple of weeks.
There's no point in that.
But I'm sure the
But
final night in
The
Milwaukee,
ratings would go up
the final night in Milwaukee
at the Bradley Center.
will be special for.
If you listen to
You
the
guys.
Pro Wrestling Report on 540 ESPN, guess who's giving away tickets to that show at the Bradley Center in Milwaukee on February 23rd?
Who?
These guys.
You are? You got tickets?
We have tickets available to give away.
I didn't get tickets yet.
Well, you don't qualify. You're an employee of the
I'm
show.
not under contract
I
because
thought you were.
No, because now that we won this award, there's an escalator clause where I can actually become a free agent.
You and Howard Stern, both in renegotiations right now with the show. We wish you the best in your contract endeavors.
Yeah, thanks.
But what we were talking about was what happens to the talent and champions. You think they can all stay, nothing changes, but if they're calling it the next step in WWE, Generation Next, if you will, NXT, that does give them the opportunity to bring in some of those FCW talents, some of those younger guys, and really make it a point that that's what the brand is focusing on.
It's going to be interesting. I mean, it's going to be a complete rebuild.
All right.
Because you have to introduce no names to
Right.
the world.
Mm-hmm.
So they better have some pretty creative gimmicks pretty quick. I can see Evan Bourne going down there to next. Because they're going to take some established guys from Raw and SmackDown, younger guys.
Yeah, he's
and
hip,
put them
he's
there.
young, he's with it.
Yeah.
It makes some sense.
I could see, not The Miz. He's too big of a star right now. But I could see him there. Once
What
in a
about
while.
Cody Rhodes?
I think, yeah, definitely. He has to knock down a notch.
So Evan Bourne also has to get knocked down now.
Well, no, Evan Bourne would be the star. But he needs a heel to feud with.
Let's talk about this past Sunday's Royal Rumble, which was live on pay-per-view from the ATL, Atlanta, Georgia. Edge makes his triumphant return and walks out and into the main event.
It's good to see Grizzly Adams back. I mean, you know what? He was missed.
Yeah, I will admit that. Edge is a superstar. I mean, it's sort of cliche to say, but Edge is over. And I like the opportunistic gimmick that he has. It's not really a gimmick. It's, he comes in
It's
and
the
takes
truth.
advantage of opportunities when they exist. I like that. And I'm intrigued by the promo Edge cut on Raw on Monday and getting over pretty much on Sheamus and leaving him laying in the middle of the ring at the beginning of Raw. Edge clearly, or apparently, a bit of a babyface.
Well, he is a babyface. Whenever somebody comes back from a long absence,
Gotta
they're
be.
always the babyface. Triple H did it. Jericho did it. Edge now, I think Edge is going to tease a match with Sheamus,
Mm-hmm.
but we all know he's going to be going after the world title.
Will it still be around the waist of The Undertaker come WrestleMania?
I don't think so.
Okay.
Elimination Chamber,
Will it still be around the waist of Sheamus come WrestleMania?
yes.
Ted DiBiase won't do it. Kofi Kingston won't do it.
No,
All right.
no. Here's why. Elimination Chamber, you will see one title change. And that'll be the
One, not all
SmackDown
three
brand.
like last year,
No, just one.
or both like last year. Last year's Elimination Chamber or No Way Out pay-per-view was a great show.
And I think the SmackDown Chamber, it's going to be kind of weak. Not very pleased with who they got in there.
All right.
All
Mickie
right.
James is the new women's champion.
What, 20-second squash?
It was 15 on Monday.
15?
It was quick, but you sort of knew during that whole lead up to it at the beginning of the matchup that it was going to be quick. It had to be quick, and Mickie James walks out with the only title change on the Royal Rumble pay-per-view, the new women's champion.
I like it. I think that Mickey is the best worker. I think she'll have a great feud coming up now with the Glamazon again. Yeah, I'm not buying into Michelle McCool.
Dead woman walking.
Yes, she is.
CM Punk, pretty much the shining star of this year's Royal Rumble. Really haven't seen anything like it before. Not only did he eliminate several talents, but he cut promos in between, and did so in a very entertaining way.
You know, this is what he's been missing. You know, he didn't have Festus. Now he has
Festus for the rest of us.
right, Luke Gallows, and I think the addition of Serena Deeb helps quite a bit too. Nice little faction he's got going there.
Nothing compares to Serena.
Nothing at all. Serena Deeb is going to be a star.
CM Punk did not need to win the Royal Rumble, but he certainly did come out of the Royal Rumble a winner, I think.
I think that Punk and Gallows can win the tag belts Monday on Raw, and then I can see Serena becoming the new ladies champion on SmackDown, and then the Straight Edge Society has some gold, which will give them some steam going into WrestleMania.
How many titles did Right to Censor ever have? That faction.
I don't think
Wasn't Ivory the ladies champion?
I think they had the tag belts.
Yeah.
Yeah. You can't compare the two.
I'm not comparing, and sort of.
But you did.
Sort of. They're comparable.
Mm-hmm.
Right to Censor was all about cleaning things up, and Straight Edge Society is all about cleaning things up.
Yeah, but look, Right to Censor, you had Dr. Stevie, Val Venus, The Good Father, Ivory.
Mm-hmm.
Was Bulbous Cannon in there?
I think so.
Yeah.
Yeah. You at pwrshow.com said 70% of you said that the Royal Rumble got a passing grade, while 30% of you said it failed, which is just about the same
Is
as
passing a
TNA
D?
Genesis.
A D and a
You
above?
passed with a D, certainly. That's how I got through high school.
A, B, C, D. That's the top four.
A couple of emails, your feedback on the Royal Rumble, and keep in mind you can check out Pro Wrestling Report Interactive. David, our inbox is full. So we're clearing the inbox, and over the course of the next few days, brand new episodes of Interactive all throughout next week, so that we can get to your emails, because that's what it's all about here, you, the viewer, and we want to make sure we answer those questions and keep them coming to us at pwrshow.com. This one, reference to the Royal Rumble, comes from Craig Smart. He's smart.
How about that?
Thought this was a solid Rumble pay-per-view. The Rumble felt like a completely different style of match this year and was all the better for it. The ring was never overcrowded with wrestlers standing around doing nothing, and the fast eliminations made for an exciting and fast-paced match. Yes, some of the lower card wrestlers were buried, but a few of them also got to really shine, most notably CM Punk, who nearly stole the show. However, aside from Edge, there are a lot of wrestlers with nothing much to do heading into WrestleMania, and Orton, the true heel, may have no choice but to turn face as he is getting consistently positive reactions from the crowds. Nothing to say.
At least
He summed it up. It's a good, well-written email.
Well,
It's his opinion.
It's kind of funny that now we say that the former world champion CM Punk is now a lower card guy.
Well, he was
Well, yeah, he's
sitting there for a while.
right, but you know what I'm saying? It just sounds kind of funny.
Yeah.
And absolutely, the true heel Randy Orton, meet at 811.
Next email
By
comes
the way,
from...
we're gonna have some more war of words about that Monday night.
And
It's never gonna end.
Monday night, we're going to announce our guest host. We have a guest host on February 15th of the Pro Wrestling Report on 540
It's gonna
ESPN.
be huge.
Yes, it's going to be dialed up, and I'm going to be at Mardi Gras, I think, and
You think?
well, I'm not really certain yet.
It'll be on
We'll see.
Bourbon Street.
We'll see. And a suitable replacement will be filling my shoes. Nicholas B. sends this in. I think the Royal Rumble was all right. Like you, not really that many Royal Rumble moments as I expected. More from this pay-per-view. Edge wasn't really something special to me. He's done the comeback thing way too many times. Mickie James winning the Women's Championship, good for her, she deserves it. The women's title belongs to an actual women's wrestler, not some bony Deborah McMichaels wannabe that likes to steal moves from finishers from TNA.
Deborah was bony?
That's what Nicholas thinks. Ray versus Taker was a good match. The best thing on the pay-per-view, in my opinion, was Beth Phoenix eliminating the Great Khali. How'd you feel about that, David?
Good for Beth Phoenix. Felt bad for Khali.
He's fine, though.
Oh yeah,
He's
he gets
fine.
to make out with Beth Phoenix.
In my opinion, this pay-per-view seemed even rated with TNA Genesis. I expected more since this is supposed to be one of the bigger WWE pay-per-views. You know, that match with Undertaker and Rey Mysterio going into it, and thank you, Nicholas, for that email. That match with Rey Mysterio and Undertaker going into it, didn't really know what to expect, but it turned out to be one of the shining moments of the Royal Rumble.
I enjoyed it, and like I said, they kept Ray strong because it was a mistake. I'm sorry?
His pimp hand?
No. Just him, bouncing, flying all over the place. He made the mistake. He beat himself. Taker didn't really beat him. So it keeps the Rey Mysterio myth, the legend, the babyface still alive. Yeah, the booyaka.
Booyaka. Matthew Descend sends this in. The Royal Rumble was an okay show, but not a pay-per-view show. And I think it's crap that Edge won. I mean, really, he just came back. When are the younger stars going to get a chance? He has won that damn belt a ton already. Thank you very much for those emails regarding the Royal Rumble, and these came via pwrshow.com, where we had complete live coverage of the Royal Rumble as it happened, and for absolutely no charge. Exactly. And if you haven't had a chance to take a look at our in-depth discussion about the Royal Rumble, look at the wrap-up that Frank and I did from Romines, and also listen to this past Monday's ESPN radio show. And the Pro Wrestling Report is going to be covering WrestleMania 26 live from Phoenix, Arizona at Baby's Steak and Lemonade, along with Armando Estrada. Do you think we can get a cameo out of Armando for this?
Oh, absolutely.
Well, it'd be interesting to hear his analysis of what's going into WrestleMania.
He's never met a camera or a microphone he didn't like.
That's going to be all WrestleMania week, coming up from the Pro Wrestling Report, covering WrestleMania like no other. David Hero, this past Monday night on Raw, we saw the return of Bret Hart.
Did you see the potatoes he laid in on Vinnie Mac?
Vince had a little bit of a bruise and checking his teeth after that. You know what? I like what they said to each other. Bret Hart was on more so than he was January 4th, this past Monday. It came off better on TV. I think the fans got more engaged with him. And the only thing that was bizarre was the Batista involvement, which I don't know where they're going with it, but I don't like the possibility of where they're going with it, which some people speculated by a call on this past Monday's ESPN radio show that could be a tag match involving maybe Batista, Vince McMahon, Bret Hart, and maybe John Cena.
I hope not. That would ruin everything.
It would.
That wouldn't be a good match for Batista.
Well,
it really wouldn't.
And
it would be a terrible match for Bret Hart, or for it'd be even more terrible for John Cena.
Yeah. There's no reason to waste those two talents in that match at WrestleMania.
Yeah, Bret and Vince, I definitely wouldn't do that.
I don't know what Cena does at WrestleMania, though. They got 8 weeks or 9 weeks to figure this out. We have no indication of where John Cena is going to be going into WrestleMania.
You know what? He might be in the triple threat again for a world title match.
People are saying Sheamus, Triple H, Cena, huh?
I guess.
That's the speculation out there in the IWC. We'll see what happens leading into WrestleMania, and I will give WWE credit for this. WrestleMania can shape up in many different ways at this point. Nothing's clear-cut.
No, because they barely have their main event booked for WrestleMania right now.
Which is rare. Normally that's well planned in advance. Planned well in advance, rather. WWE Raw this past Monday night scoring a 3.63 rating, up 2.9% from its prior week of a 3.59. Now here's the interesting story of this past Monday's ratings. The second hour, while normally it is, but this time was substantially stronger than the first hour. They got almost a 4.0, a 3.9 rather, for that second hour. And of course, we saw the return of Bret Hart during that period of time on Raw. But where was the curiosity for the Royal Rumble? The first hour rating was actually lower than last week's first hour rating, which is unusual. Normally after the Rumble, those that didn't watch, those that may have been away, tune in, say, oh, who won the Rumble? And you just didn't have that this year. But a strong rating overall, and to continue to see ratings for both programs climb. TNA Impact got its highest Thursday rating in the history of the program last Thursday night, is overall good for the business.
It's getting time for WrestleMania. People want to watch wrestling right now. It's like the playoffs.
William Shatner was the guest host of Raw this past Monday night. I got to tell you, if it's The Miz referring to him as T.J. Hooker.
You were giddy, weren't you?
I am a mark for William Shatner. I will readily admit that. William Shatner he's a parody of himself. He's hilarious. Raw match negotiator.
It's Captain Kirk.
It's great stuff. Initially, it was Captain Kirk, correct.
And look where he's.
Some
gone.
40 years later,
Yeah.
or however long it's been, making the deal and doing the spoken words, the WWE theme songs. Great stuff. But one of the best utilizations of the Raw host since I think Bob Barker, because they did the Price is Right thing, which was funny. I can't think of another tie-in that was as good as this one.
Oh, ZZ Top. They were tremendous.
David's being facetious right now.
I would
ladies
call
and
it
gentlemen.
sarcastic.
Shatner, he struck a raw nerve this past Monday night on Raw, and I'm very happy to announce that 2 major guest hosts have been announced for upcoming editions of Raw. February 15th, when we have a guest host of our own, Jerry Springer is going to be hosting Monday Night Raw.
Oh, that's going to be a mess.
He's used to dealing with
mess.
actors. Jerry Springer, the host, on February 15th, and then March 15th, leading into WrestleMania, Stone Cold Steve Austin.
I think that's going to be awesome.
Sure, we'll be back.
You know what's going to be
in town.
interesting? There's really only, 2 or 3 guys still left on Raw that has any real history with Austin?
Wow. It's an amazingly valid point.
Triple H, HBK, Vinnie Mac,
Yeah. Wow.
Big Show.
Or the new tag team of Miz Show. That's what people are calling it.
You know what? You called The Miz. You were right.
He's awesome.
He's not a world champ like Sheamus, my guy. But he's pretty cool.
I will say, though, it took a while to take a liking to The Miz.
Oh, absolutely.
When he first came in,
he was ridiculous.
hoorah! Turn the channel, is what I did. But I did enjoy JBL's rips on him repeatedly. It was like Red Rooster 2000 or whatever he was calling him, all that stuff. Speaking of JBL, he actually made a point of this past Monday's Raw rating, saying Raw gets a 3.7. Gee, when I was there, me and The Rock got a 4.1, or me and APA got an 8.1 or whatever. JBL, the best free agent on the market. I think a bit of it was tongue-in-cheek, but it was just funny
The
to see
reason
him.
the APA was so over was because all the tag teams had a chance to win back then.
Hmm.
You had the Hardys, you had APA, you had
People
the
cared.
Dudleys, you had Too Cool, you had Edge and Christian.
The E&C connection. What did you think of, obviously we talked about the situation with Chris Jericho and Sugar Shane Helms this past Monday on 540 ESPN.
I couldn't believe they put it on ECW TV.
That was the question.
Oh my God.
Mentioned by Edge Monday,
Yeah.
referenced Jericho, and then the mugshot. And then the beatdown, which looked a bit legit. I'm not saying it was, but they did a good job on it.
I couldn't believe it. I'm watching it. I actually had to rewind because I couldn't believe it.
You skipped past it?
Yeah. It's like, is that his mugshot? Hold on, rewind back. But wow.
Are they dealing with that smartly, though, making it a storyline, basically? Or at least incorporating into
You know what?
storyline?
I think they know that the elephant's in the room,
Yeah.
and they acknowledged it, and now they moved on.
And Helms was there. A lot of people on the internet were speculating that Helms was in the doghouse, wasn't going to be on WWE TV. He was found with, reportedly found with Soma on him, Soma pills on him, and he was there in that beautiful brown suit on ECW.
Yeah. You know what? He took his medicine, literally, and
How many people, though, watching this program have gotten drunk and done something stupid? And sometimes you may be holding the baby that's as a result of that, but it happens to the best.
I've
of
never
us.
done that. I'm a superhero.
4 or 5 running around. This Monday night, 540 ESPN, we return to the airways. Make sure you tune in to the world's #1 broadcast radio show.
I can't
talking
believe,
about
I can't
professional
believe you
wrestling.
forgot the trophy.
It's not here yet, David.
Meathead got his.
He didn't get anything.
He did.
Frank got his
No,
for
no,
being number
look.
2.
They brought Meathead's trophy. He got the Fruit Award. It was in the box. It was addressed to Meat Torso. This is it, isn't it? It's the 2009 Fruit of the Year Award. Meat Torso.
Sunday, we're going to have a brand new edition of the Pro Wrestling Report Interactive, a bonus edition, and then another one on Monday, and another one on Wednesday, and another one on Thursday. So be sure to tune in as we answer your emails and keep engaging in the conversation at the all-new PWRshow.com, which is leaner and meaner, David.
Oh, absolutely. With the Skull Crusher, Rashi Brown, can't get much meaner than that.
You know, I don't want to toot our own horn, but we've got the promoter, you. We've got the worker with Ring of Honor,
The Court
Skull
Jester.
Crusher, Rashi Brown. We've got me, the broadcast journalist. We've got the Kaz, a bit of a historian.
And you got the Court Jester.
It's 5:40 ESPN Monday night and streaming at pwrshow.com. Well, that's a show. And again, we'll see you Sunday night with a brand new edition of the Pro Wrestling Report Interactive. For David Hero, this is Damian Nelson saying thank you for tuning in to the Pro Wrestling Report Prime Time.